The Way of Fire, Summoning Magic and the Spirit. I have spoken of the fourfold way common to Eurasian mythology that leads to a common center where a person can then go on to greater spiritual achievement. This video is about the path of fire. My own studies began with Joe Campbell's monomyth and my realization that this was a truncated myth about the fortunes of a lucky person who goes into the magical world, returns to save his people and become king, rises into fatherhood and tyranny, and sacrifices himself for the sake of his child. There is an opposite path, that of the trickster, who goes into the real world to effect justice, and having done so, falls back into the underworld to rule until it is destroyed and he is released to be a lone teacher. A third story is truncated as a romance, but follows the bride into the magical world where she is tested and then rises into marriage and motherhood, where she becomes the evil queen of politics, is punished, and becomes compassion itself. The path of fire follows the witch as she rises into the real world under a time pressure to give creation to humanity that is used as a weapon. She destroys the world in order to renew it in hope. I have made other videos about the fourfold way, especially on how it relates to stories. The witch's story is similar to the trickster's and is demonstrated extremely well in the Andromeda strain by Michael Crichton. Here is a slide of the popular truncated story seen in movies and stories about a talented person who self-destructs. Common movies are about Jim Morrison of The Doors, Wolfgang Mozart in Amadeus, and Alan Turing in The Imitation Game. A better movie about this character is The Fifth Element, about a weapon in the form of a witch designed to protect Earth. The Witch's Way, Dragons and Demons and the Gift of Talent. John Skelton's poem reads, Diana in the leaves green, Luna that so bright doth sheen, Persephone in hell. This path is not a path that people choose. They are called to it whether they want to or not, for it is difficult and the rewards come with torment. The person on this path often feels possessed, used, misunderstood, and out of sync with the world. Their gifts are often disparaged unless they make money, bring fame, or can be used to someone's advantage. The person on this path doesn't use magic, they are magic. They are often physically malformed or mentally unstable, and often hate the world in which they feel trapped. They often are removed from society by masks or social constructs, and if their disguise as menials is penetrated, they are used for their own creations that get out of their control. They hide unless discovered, and often self-destruct under the pressure of fame. Chapter 1, Making Magic. Salvador Dali said, "What is a television apparatus to a man? He has only to shut his eyes to the most inaccessible regions of the seen and the never seen, who has only to imagine in order to pierce through the walls and cause all the planetary Baghdads of his dreams to rise from the dust." Talent often shows up early, and if nurtured can seem like a gift from God. Some have wondered if genius talent is somehow left over from a previous life, but talent to perform while taking over a young person is different from the talent to create. Part of it might be a desire to leave something behind or to become famous, but most of it is a vision, a calling, or a compulsion. It shows in the arts with composers and writers, but also in the sciences, and once was controlled by the church. It still shows strongly in religious orders like the Buddhist Sufis and among Christian monasteries. The confusing thing about talent is that it is not seen in fiction as a person using magic, but as a magical being, often elves or dwarves, but now as the computer. Seen as familiars or slaves, the person who is magic is misunderstood, but each of us possesses the desire to create, to make worlds, to see beyond the veil and show people what we have seen. Talent has two big struggles: learning the discipline of fires that rage through the self, and learning to build a bridge to the rest of the world. Talent must connect to others through creation, and that can become a distancing factor if the world is not ready for it. In myths, talent shows as the weaver and the smith, the weaver of fate and the one who tamed fire to the service of mankind. Talent can show up as a new way to make something or as artistic genius. The way to nurture talent and creativity is to let it be and not make it a slave or punish the person for the gift of fire. So often these people are misfit for life, as if a newly arriving from a place of magic, unable to take the time to master social skills, as the drive to reveal the secrets press upon their souls takes over, blinding them to anything but the idea that must be created. The magic within the creator is often a driving force so strong that it can wreck the body or take over a person as an intense drive for knowledge or skills that seems obsessive. It is difficult to see the gift from the gods or the spinner of stars in a person haggard from staying up all night or diving into drugs to recapture that vision or to relax. This is a difficult road, and the secret to it is the discipline of work. Chapter 2, Initiation into Talent, the Pitfall of Psychic Success. Jim Morrison said, "I think of myself as an intelligent, sensitive human being with the soul of a clown, which always forces me to blow it at the most important moments." One of the most difficult things about being a creator is success. Not only do artists complain that people love their work for the wrong things, superficial things like characters or presentation, but scientists discovering amazing secrets of the world or inventing new sciences often find their discoveries used in ways they hate, often for war or killing people. Performing artists who become famous often back off performing, hating the fans and wanting peace just to follow their visions. If you find yourself becoming popular for your art or used for your ideas, you may be a victim of fame. To decide if you are vulnerable to it, here are some questions to ask yourself. Do I deserve to be rewarded for my work? If my work was suddenly popular, would it make sense to me? Do I need to be famous to justify the time I've spent creating? Would I like to prove myself to all those people who thought I was crazy? Am I known for my amazing talents? Do I care about what people think of me? Am I totally misunderstood? Am I obsessed with the vision and angry that no one else will see it? Do I expect people to make way for my work, even if they don't get it? Do I resent people looking at me and not at the work I can do? Do I often feel that people can't see the forest for the trees? Chapter 3, The Threshold of Change, Hearing the Call of Creation. Edna St. Vincent Millay said, "My candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night. But ah, my foes and oh, my friends, it gives a lovely light." Most of the models held up for people on the fire path are failed models, those who overdosed, committed suicide, or were institutionalized or died young. Rarely do people on this path get to know those who kept to their work and used their talents for good. So often, people on this path are frightened by their own powers and terrified of those who call them witches or possessed. The call to the path of fire often feels like a race against time to get the visions out before time is up. Few feel such a pressure as those on this path except body performers trying to stay young enough. People on the path often stay up all night and burn the candle from both ends. Acknowledging the gates of death. People in the West often do not understand that suicide can come from a deep need to be someone else. Religions acknowledge this rebirth by cutting the hair and adopting a costume. You can do what people have done for ages, which is adopt a persona or an identity, or have a room where closing the door and donning a coat is going from one world to another. Preparing to bind the will. The next step involves a total humility of the spirit. It is awful. You must be able to face it with complete willingness, politeness, and obedience. If you cannot rise above the psychic sloth and prepare your spirit for the discipline it needs to survive the fire, then back off now and do not attempt this path until a later time. Practice anything you can to understand humility. Usually taking a menial job is good, but working as an apprentice is better, especially if you can make arrangements for lodging and food and no wages from a hard taskmaster. Listening to the ashes. You do not know who your teacher will be. Part of humility is realizing that your teacher or guide may very well be a stone or an idiot. Part of the pride in the slattern in Toads and Diamonds is that she sneered at her teacher and thus could not learn. Preparing the pyre. Without stuff to burn, a fire will die. You must understand that it's your soul that will burn. To give up your soul to the burning, you will have to have a soul that constantly renews itself, or you will burn up. Part of a good burning is preparing the pyre. You will need a base from which to work. Either it will be a room or a place, good in your mind, better. Envision a place in your mind that is a place for constant destruction and resurrection of your own soul. It must be personal, and it is better not to share it. Chapter 4, Lighting the Fire. Henry Moore said, "Discipline in art is a fundamental struggle to understand oneself as much as it is to understand what one is drawing." Getting hold of the fires within yourself is difficult. Holding the body and mind to the creation of those fires requires greater discipline than most people have. This is more than practicing the piano every day or working out. This is forcing the mind to ignore distractions of boredom, deadlines, time pressure, and the myriad of other things in life that will prevent you from working. There is the discipline of the body, sleeping, eating, getting enough exercise, but the discipline of the mind may be tougher. Here are some questions to ask yourself. What is the worst demand of your body? What is the worst demand of your personality? What distracts you? What drives you crazy? What are you willing to do for inspiration? Are you disabled by criticism? Can you do menial work for your day job? Chapter 5, The Protection of Invisibility. Glenn Gould said, "I detest audiences, not in their individual components, but en masse. I think they're a force of evil. It seems to me a rule of mob law." Many people on the path of fire are composers, but also performance artists. They will often take on personas to help them deal with an audience. The theater and the circus encourage this dawning of a different person, but under the makeup may be a shy person or a person who loves music and theater but hates the attention. Fire people want attention for their work, often not for themselves. If they succeed at performance, they will often retreat into the studio or abandon the stage to pursue their art. Fire people often cannot travel or manage others. Talent is often viewed by others as a challenge, a way to be coy, or a way to avoid a relationship. People often view the work as a kind of sickness, encouraging the person on this path to act abnormal and ditch their friends and family for their art. Success does breed its own reward of being free to pursue the art or provide for a family. However, intimate relations, especially children, take an enormous amount of time, and few people can stand the competition with the work. Fire genius often comes with strange personality flaws, which are seen by others as problems to fix, which is why you will see a lot of attempts on this path to drive people off or attract others that need to change or dance on the edge of social norms. But life takes time. Try to work into a schedule, like getting up early to do your art before the busy day begins. Don't try to stay in the lab up all night, despite the inspiration. If the ideas are sound, they will hold. Wait in line, shop, sleep. The discipline will make the work better. You don't have to hide from the world, but the world will take precious time. Chapter 6. Ways to Resist Substance Abuse. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The torpid artist seeks inspiration at any cost, by virtue, by vice, by friend or by fiend, by prayer or by wine." One of the most common questions people ask is, where do you get your ideas? The more difficult question is, what happens when the ideas don't come? People on this path seem to be expected to use drugs and alcohol, not just to relax, but for the altered states that are key to many religious groups. However, out of context, altered states of mind may become addictive and destructive. People on this path seem to be expected to abuse drugs and alcohol. Everything is against them. They are misfits and bound to the harsh wheel of inspiration, unable to relax. Without the backbone of the guide or religion, they seem lost and self-destructive. Here are some questions to ask yourself about your work and your habits. Do I feel used when I work for others to pay my rent? Have I ever gone against my spirit for the sake of compromising on my work? Did I find that what I use to help me escape the real world helped me to escape myself? Have I ever used my talent for the gain of others out of guilt? Have I ever caved in to the pressure to do work that was marketable? Have I ever worked in a field that was close to mine and found that it burned me out for my own work? Have I ever been censured for not being a team player? Have I ever felt rejected because my work was too strange or too unappealing? Have I ever longed to fill myself when I feel empty? Chapter 7, Becoming the High Priestess. In their song, Indian Summer Sky, the lyrics run, "Two rivers run too deep, the seasons change and so do I. The light that strikes the tallest trees will light a way for I, will light a way. Up toward the sky, it's a blue sky, to lose along the way the spark that set the flame, to flicker and to fade on this the longest day." In this case, the value of work is not for gain, power, or survival, but for itself. It is a calling. As a consequence, most people will be both in awe of it and ridicule it for not making money or for being frivolous. It is fire. They need the spiritual work to light their hearths. They need the work to cook their food and warm them and give them light in the darkness. But this is also the lightning strike or the forest fire. Unlike water magic, which must flow to be healthy, fire magic must be held. This is dark magic, or magic from the night. In ancient times, it was as early as 400,000 years ago, this goddess was the person who held the fire, the moon and the stars, and the animals of the earth. A priestess is not a manifestation of the divine, but a channeler of divine energy. In Gaelic, the ancient word for burning, rowan, and blooming are all held together, inherited in our own words, lush and blush. You are the poem, the memory, the green and burning tree. The representatives of this path are the goddess Bridget, who tended the flocks, kept the hearth, inspired poets, and also forged the metals as well as wove, or the goddess of the spindle, the owl, the stars, and the ancient fires. To channel this energy, you must be strong, strengthened by fire, a thread spun round itself so it will not break in the great loom of life. You must be able to read the signs and hold on to the visions that only you can manifest, a vision in the dark of an eternal pattern that will not die, but rise again and again from the ashes of humanity's folly. Chapter 8, Black Magic and Destruction. Albert Einstein said, "The release of atomic power has changed everything except our way of thinking. The solution to this problem lies in the heart of mankind. If only I had known, I should have become a watchmaker." Before 4000 BCE, the passage of the constellation Leo was at the summer solstice and symbolized the death of the sun as the days began to shorten. Summer was seen as the lion of Asharte, Leo, the goddess of the harvest, but also of death. For northerners, the great battle of the heavens took place in autumn, when winter won for a time until defeated by the constellations of spring. The pole star was not the Big Dipper, but in the tail of Draco, the great dragon serpent of time. For thousands of years, the battle of the heavens were the great serpent and the wolf, the original constellation of Antares that was also a serpent, and in the south, the scorpion. For most of the north, the wolf and the dragon have meant destruction or predation, the wolf to take humanity's gains, and the dragon serpent to represent the great wheel of time that destroys everything in its path. Europeans have stories upon stories of both the end of the world and the magical weapon. In one, the weapon is the head of Medusa, but in more modern times, scientists and inventors have often been the victims or collaborators of the weapons of mass destruction. From lasers to microwaves, from the wheel to the jet engine and atomic power, so many useful and beneficial inventions have been turned to evil that people have become even more afraid of genius and invention. The arts have been more successful, for the artists can destroy their art to prevent the trap of fame or to prevent their works from being used for gain after they have died or can no longer control what happens to their creations. Stories are told of art of one controlling the action of others, but remember, this is vanity. You exist for the work, and what others do with it is often not in your control. If you fear this, keep your work secret or destroy it. Chapter 9, Hope. Emily Dickinson said, "Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tunes without the words and never stops at all." The other aspect of the phoenix of Bridget and the Babylonian goddess Gula as Aquarius, depicted on the tarot as the star, is healing. Bringing water to the desert, fire to the darkness, hope to a people destroyed by their own folly. You can channel this feeling, something beyond humankind. Too many times the Maker acts as a mirror of the self-destructive nature of the false world, showing mankind its own follies and flaws. But deep within every person, out of the regrets and failures, is this feeling that something good might come of it all. As a maker of fire magic, you are often alone in the dark, aware of pain, aware of death, aware of destruction. But healing is within your own power of creation. Within your own darkness there is a light. The secret is to reach up and out toward the stars and let that longing in your soul catch the spark of hope. Hold on to that spark, for it is beyond human, beyond death, beyond pain and sorrow. It is the very soul of our being, and you hold it in your hands.